And Ian Erasmus on the front row of the grid. Erasmus has showed great pace in the MX5 Cup. Is he going to be able to do the same in the Formula Renault 2.0 Challenge from second on the grid for this final race of the evening for the championship? It's the green flag, and pole man is away well, but Erasmus looking to challenge as they come towards the first corner, but Bagier is going strong as they go through. John McClintock getting around the outside in fourth place. There is a spinner in the back of the pack and nosed into the barriers, so unfortunate for him, but Philpott crucially has made a clean start. Mark Greenhow getting out of shape at Williams corner, but it looks like he's made progress as well. Philpott meanwhile all over Anil Singh to try and claw his way up the order. Meanwhile the top two are absolutely nose to tail as they come out of Atwood. Oh, and round goes one of the cars down at Atwood curve. So still Bagier leading the way ahead of Erasmus, and they just got a slight advantage over Philpott, although I imagine that is very, very quickly going to be closed. And Anil Singh involved.
Oh, and that's, sorry to cut across you, Chris, that's Bagier. He's spun out of the lead, getting on the power, and there is massive carnage behind him. 4 or 5 cars off the circuit.
Yeah, Eric Swain's caught up in that in the brawn colour car. David Hatton has fallen off the road in all of that as well. He's through the gravel at Revolver Corner.
And to come back to the leaders, we've got Philpott on the outside. Philpott's been taken out. Well, yeah, Erasmus, I think the two were dicing into the final hairpins, and Philpott was on the outside, and it looks like Erasmus just understeered into it.
Drama for our championship leaders on the opening round of race 3. So at the end of lap 1, the top 3 with a huge advantage over the rest of the field. It is Ian Erasmus who leads, Anil Singh, and then Jelly Ooms in 3rd place. And then Grant Bagier coming under big pressure. Philpott still right with him, as is Conor Meyer, I believe that is in all of that as well. It is, he's getting up the inside now. As they go towards Williams, he's going to have the outside. There's Carl Power right up in the mix as well. And Alexander Derbitzberger, our original poleman. There's Matt Trumpets getting involved in it as well. It's just a gaggle of cars. Oh, Derbitzberger's off the road. I think he made contact there with Bagier. And there's another car going into the barriers as well. Derbitzberger over on his roof, just missing Richard Molden there as well.
Yeah, 3 wide down there doesn't go. This is quite a tight circuit, and they were pushing it there, I think.
So we've got a string of cars from Meyer onward. So Power's made his way up from 22nd to what I think is now 6th. We'll see as they come over the line. Grant Bagier still in this one, amazingly, as John Lang tries to get up around the outside of Matt Trumpets down at Revolver. Oh, Bagier's off the road again down at Revolver, and he's hit Matt Trumpets. Trumpets is slowing down through the left-hander, and this is also the advantage of John Lang. Here he comes. He's going to pick up 2 positions here as they break for Redmond Corner.
I hope Trumpet hasn't got any damage from there. He looks like he's continuing okay.
Yeah, Bagier certainly does. Yeah, front wing very lopsided on that number 46 car. So a bit of a messy opening few laps for him. Top 3, meanwhile, absolutely pulling away. 1.1 second covers those 3 cars. And then we've got Sam Watley. Stuart Elder there is the back marker. But Philpott is still in 5th place. So he's still going to score quite well on this one. David Hatton, meanwhile, I cannot see in the top 20 on my timing.
You say he's still in 5th place. He's right up behind Watley. He's going to make a dive into the hairpin, and he's got him. In fact, Watley goes very wide, nearly off the circuit, but he's back on. It's all okay for him.
Carl Power seemingly also about to make a move on Conor Meyer for 6th place, as they're heading towards the hairpin corner. Anil Singh is that off the road down at Atwood from 2nd place. We'll get confirmation of that as they go over the line. Power, meanwhile, up the inside for the hairpin and picks up the position. I've just found David Hatton on my timing. He is across the line in 22nd place last time around, so he is losing out big time to Brad Philpott in this race.
You say that, though, he has still made up 15 places, but there is a bit of a gap. He's dicing with Basso at the moment, but there's an ever-increasing gap. He is 24 seconds behind the race leader at the beginning of this lap.
Looks like Spanners has had a bit of a messy one as well. He's down in 35th place, so not a strong start for him. Steve Ficacci lost 15 places. He's down in 30th.
In fact, Spanners is in the pits. We could probably go to him now and see what was going on there. Spanners, you're live on air. What happened to you, mate?
Oh, I don't know. At the beginning, someone crossed the start-finish track, so I got hit before we even got to turn 1, which is nice. But for some reason, which I hope to find out later, I think my brake settings have changed, so every time I hit the brakes I spin, and I've not got the experience to deal with that. Apart from that, this is great fun, and I've already had 2 great results, so no bother.
Oh, the racing driver excuse is getting in there already. You are truly becoming one of us. Back to you, Chris. Thank you, Spanners.
Yeah, so top 2 separated by 7/10 of a second. That was Anil Singh, who did go off the road down at Atwood. So it's now Jelly Ooms in 2nd place and Philpott now up to 3rd. And wow, Matt Trumpets is involved in an absolute gaggle of cars coming down towards Revolver and Piper. So we'll try and make sense of all this. It looks like that's John Lang getting around the outside of Lucas Wallace. Actually, Lucas Wallace making up the position. So there's a huge train of cars coming up towards Mike Knight Corner at the moment, headed by Lucas Wallace at the moment. He's just picked up the place on John Lang. Meanwhile, only 0.4 of a second between our leaders on that occasion. But in this battle for 5th place, there is plenty to gain and everything to lose, it would seem, as there's a stream of them coming towards turn 1. And Trumpets coming under big pressure from Anil Singh at turn 1. And they're side by side going through Williams. But Trumpets able to hang on.
He was put slightly offline there by Sam Harper coming through at the hairpin, and that gave Singh the look, but unfortunately Singh couldn't make it stick.
And Danny Silver now fancies a look. Oh, and looks up, and Lang has a big twitch. I think there was a bit of contact there, and there might well be more contact. Here comes Sam Harper trying to find his way through.
It's 3 wide coming down the straight. 3 wide coming down straight. Harper is on the inside. Sorry to cut across you there, Chris. There's about 5 cars in about 3 car lengths. This is very impressive stuff.
Darren Buckle, the back marker, getting involved in that as well. But it's Harper who comes out ahead on the way into the hairpin. Then it's John Lang, Danny Silver and Trumpets side by side as they go through Revolver. And Trumpets squeezed up on the curb and loses the back end. And now he's coming under pressure from Anil Singh once again. And there's Gregory Leader, our race 2 winner, who's now getting involved in this fight. And has a look up the inside into Redmond Corner. Is he going to pick up saying, oh, Trumpets has spun right in front of Leader. Does an incredible job to avoid him. And that's broken up this pack a little bit.
And he took out Richard Molden as well, who just couldn't avoid him and got locked wheels there. That's a shame for Molden too. Innocent bystander in that incident.
Yep, so quite a gap forming now between Harper and Lang, Silver and Anil Singh now coming under pressure from Leader. Darren Buckle back in the pits, by the way, but there's Edward Shelley and David Fernandez as Leader has a big look up the inside and locks up his brakes towards turn 1 on Anil Singh.
The beauty of being in command of the mute buttons is that I could go to Matt Trumpets just now and see what happened there. Trumpets, you are live on air. Are you free to talk? Oh, I think he's quite busy. We'll come back to him later. Yeah,
I would take that as a solid no. Leaders once again separated by 0.4 of a second on that lap. That's the start of lap 6. Meanwhile, John Lang once again having to go defensive because here comes Danny Silver towards the outside, and Lang with that inside line in the number 48 car. He's been able to hold him off. But still Silver having a look up the inside and locks his brakes and loses a little bit of ground in doing so. But I've got to say, a lot of these guys having phenomenal comebacks. Oh, Lang just chopping across the nose there of Silver. Oh, and Silver just turns into the corner and they're both off. And Singh gets caught right up in the middle of it as well. He's up on 2 wheels and the big mess down at Redmond Corner. I was about to say, a lot of these guys have come up from very lowly grid positions. Carl Power, for example, 22nd to 4th. Lucas Wallace, 29th to 5th now. Sam Harper as well, or 6th I should say, because Sam Harper has gone through. Gregory Leader 40th to 7th.
I don't know if we're looking at the, sorry to cut across you, Chris. Jelly Ooms is making a move on Erasmus for the lead. He's coming up on the outside of the hairpin. What's he going to do down here?
Yep, side by side for the lead of the race. Jelly Ooms on the outside. He's braked deep and he's braked late. Is he going to be able to sell all the way around the outside? Erasmus with the tighter line hangs on, but Ooms is going to have the line now into the left-hander, and he gets the lead.
What a move there for a moves there. He just went straight around the outside, kept it going, and then was on the inside from the next corner. Wonderful move there.
Bradley Philpott will hope these two keep squabbling because he's closing in. 3.9 seconds the gap was on that last lap. Not sure if Philpott, he might have a little bit of damage on that car, and that's why he hasn't already reeled them in. As they're about to complete lap 7, as we'll have 3 to go as they come across the stripe. Lucas Wallace and Gregory Leader still battling away over 6th place. They're just coming through Redmond and into Hobbs now. And Wallace very tight on the way into the right-hander. We've seen Leader able to gain positions through there in the previous 2 races.
Yeah, I think his tight line there compromises exit a bit, but Leader got a little bit of a swapper on there, and so he's dropped back a little bit, so I don't think he's going to challenge that first corner this time round.
No, he's lost momentum, hasn't he? Yeah, good 0.7 of a second between them as they came over the line. So John Lang, I think he does have damage on that car because he's now fallen down to 9th place and has David Fernandez and John McClintock all over him. And he's out wide, and David Fernandez through the Moss S trying to have a look at him. And John McClintock trying to find his way through as well. And I was about to say this, Fernandez, but he's actually a lap down in this battle. So hopefully he doesn't get too caught up. Fernandez sweeps around the outside of John Lang at the outward curve. That car is definitely not performing at its best.
Yeah, he's lost a bit of top speed and a bit of downforce as well, which is never a good combination.
Yeah, you can just see, it's not stopping him having a look up the inside though with the hairpin. Good move from John Lang, although Fernandez is going to try and brave it out through the inside of Revolver. I think Lang's going to be able to sweep around the outside. Yes, he does. He's able to hold on to the position. Only just. McClintock now having a look at the inside as they head into Redmond, and just about gets it stopped, and Fernandez so nearly came across the front wheel there, and I think he had to jam on the anchors and very nearly caught Spanners out as well. So leaders started the penultimate lap of our championship races for this evening. Jelly Ooms across the line. He's now heading down towards the back straight. Philpott 2.2 seconds behind. I don't think he's going to be able to show his nose in this battle. Carl Power in a race on his own, as is Sam Harper in 5th place. And then we've got Lucas Wallace in 6th, just ahead of Gregory Leader. And Edward Shelley might join the fray if these two start squabbling. Meanwhile, John Lang still defending that 9th place for all it's worth. Ahead of David Fernandez. Actually, it's John McClintock who's now in 10th place and battling away. Lang driving off the circuit there down the run into the hairpin corner, and McClintock's got a run on him, trying to get around the outside. Lang just looking up his brakes. Spanish trying to unlap himself, which you can do, but I don't think Fernandez is going to appreciate that all that much.
Just as long as it doesn't do an Ocon on Verstappen, then we should be okay.
No, absolutely not. So the leaders have started the final lap, and Jelly Ooms lost 0.3 of a second to Ian Erasmus. I wonder if there's one last twist in this tale for the first race weekend of the Missed Apex Formula Renault 2.0 Challenge. Could Ian Erasmus launch a final lap charge on Ian Erasmus?
And if he does,
2 seconds behind them.
I was going to say, if he does, then Philpott is waiting in the wings. He's actually in 1.7 behind now. He is eating chunks of time out of these two. If they get together, Philpott could be in for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erasmus, he's got to run, and Ooms having to go defensive on the way to the hairpin. Erasmus locking up his rear brakes and sliding it Marquez style into the corner, but I think he's lost ground because Ooms has pulled out 1 car length, 2 car lengths on Erasmus. And just a few corners to go now for Jelly Ooms to take a Missed Apex Motorsport victory for the first time. And I think he's about to do it. Only 3 corners to go for Ooms in the number 16 car. As Erasmus has got one last launch left in him. He was getting the back end out on the way out of Hobbs' corner. Oh, he might be on drag to the finish line. He's got a really good run through the final corner, but I think Ooms is just going to take this one. So the top three really closed up on this final lap. And here comes Jelly Ooms to wrap up this maiden Formula Renault Challenge weekend with victory ahead of Ian Erasmus and Brad Philpott. Carl Power comes over the line in 4th place. A bit of a lonely race for him. Meanwhile, Sam Harper now coming over the final corner, and he takes 5th place. And it is going to be Lucas Wallace who continues to repel Gregory Leader to take 6th position. Edward Shelley in a very nice 8th place there. John McClintock has gotten 9th place, I believe. Danny Silver's in that as well, though he's a lap down. We'll see as they come over the line. Actually, John Lang 9th. So brilliant defensive driving. And David Fernandez, your top 10. And I will just give you an update on our going into this race, championship leader, David Hatton, 37th to 22nd, an admirable drive, but not what he wanted after taking the lead of the championship. So that is the first 3 championship races of the Mr. Apex Formula Renault 2.0 Challenge complete.
Well done, guys. That looked like a ton of fun.
Spanners, we were a little bit worried that you might pull an Ocon on Verstappen there at the end.
No, I know. I was very respectful, I think.
I can't imagine what it'd be like to be in the cars there.
It's amazing. So if you want to get involved, spannersready@gmail.com. Let me know. We'll put you on the registry. Competition is fierce for places, but we will try and accommodate as many people as we can.
So street stocks coming up next after this quick break.